Malcolm Butler. We talked earlier about the fact that he wasn't available, and he couldn't have made things worse because the defense was abysmal without him. But apparently he found out just before the game he wouldn't be playing. Eric Rowe found out he would be starting. I mean, what's that?
I want to know that more than anything. I mean, the heck with the Josh McDaniels thing. This affected the Super Bowl. I mean, you could sit here and argue, just like you said, our man Tom Curran in Boston said, you could make the case that this lost them the Super Bowl because Malcolm Butler would have been man up on Alshon Jeffrey and a few of the third down conversions we saw, or maybe he's on Nelson Aguilar and that lets Stephon Gilmore be on a Alshon Jeffrey more and more. But very peculiar situation. The New England Patriots defense had to stop the run, and then having to stop the run, they were so outmatched in that area. They had to put their corners in man-to-man situations, and Malcolm Butler's one of the best man-to-man corners in the sport, and for some reason he wasn't out there, and that's what I want to know more than anything about what happened in the pregame or leading up to the game in the week. What is it that got him benched?
The possibilities are endless. The manner in which he may have disrespected Bill Belichick.
I can't even believe he would do any. The only thing I could think of just working there, maybe he got to the bus late going to the game, and maybe Bill didn't like that, and that pissed him off, and he goes, his head's not in the game. He's not being professional. Did he miss a meeting during the week, and Bill's just not trying to publicize it? I really don't know. Was he sick early in the week, and he messed up some practice assignments, and Bill goes, I don't feel right about it. He didn't trust him. All those things have crossed my mind, but I think at the end of the day, the only thing I can think of is he did something game day morning that the New England Patriots didn't like, and that's why they decided to bench him.
Because otherwise, ahead of time, and you plan
exactly
for it. Something had to have happened then and there. And it may have just been that straw that broke the camel's back. It's possible they've been trying to get him to accept a contract extension that he doesn't like, and he's pushing back, and they're not happy with that.
Yep.
And then you throw in something else, and it takes that one final straw, and maybe that's what ultimately occurred.
Yeah.
But boy, I'll tell you what. I don't know how you don't change your mind at some point during the game. That's where stubbornness can kill you. Stubbornness can affect your legacy. Stubbornness can cause you to lose a Super Bowl because you don't go with the guy that you need.
Stubbornness is one of 5 Super Bowls too. So I know. It's the beauty of the beast here as far as Bill Belichick. This is the kind of game he plays.
6-2 still sounds a heck of a lot better than 5-3. And the only good news for Belichick, as I said on the radio side, he won't have to worry about repainting his boat.
It's crazy.
Still be 7 rings.
I mean, it's just crazy when you think in New England. The Super Bowls, every one they've been in has been awesome. The only one I can ever feel like they really had truly control of was maybe the first Eagles Super Bowl, where I said in the fourth quarter they had control of the game and Donovan McNabb had to make magic. Other than that, this is the greatness of Brady and Belichick too. They've just outperformed teams in the fourth quarter. They could be 1-6 just as easily as they could be 6-1 in the Super Bowl too. That's what I think is amazing, and how close it is to the NFL. The difference between dynasty and a team that fails over and over. And New England, more times than not, has found ways to win these type of football games.
And it could be the start of a new dynasty in Philadelphia. We'll take a look at that coming up on the TV side, the Super Bowl odds, and we'll do rapid reaction when we continue with TV and radio here on Pro Football Talk Live. Rob Gronkowski's name came up yesterday during the game, and I'll admit that I was responsible for it. And here's the thing: when you spend the whole week in Minneapolis, you talk to different people, you hear different things, and some things you can report, other things you just kind of think that maybe there's something up here. And
you brought this to my attention on Saturday a little bit.
Look, the concussion that Rob Gronkowski had 2 weeks and 1 day ago, I think he's never been hit harder in the head in his life, and it took him a while. It was a struggle to pass the concussion test and get cleared to play. He's never spent a dollar of his football money. He can walk away. I think people in his family, one or more of them, pressing him to step aside. And I tweeted yesterday, it's a 99% wild guess, but I'm not going to be shocked if Rob Gronkowski retires after the game. And someone asked him after the game about the rumor that he may retire. Here's his response.
I don't know how you heard that, but I'm definitely going to look at my future, for sure. We'll sit down the next couple of weeks and see where I'm at.
I don't know how you heard that. You made the point in
Thanks
real
for
time
giving me
last
credit,
night on
yeah.
the postgame
I just
show.
thought it
Hey,
was an
man.
awkward comment,
Yeah, I don't know
right?
how. Well, there's that. What do you
Right.
mean? I don't know how you heard that.
What's there to hear?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If it's completely false, it's like, what are you talking about? Retire?
Right.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know
exactly.
how you heard that. And you could see it was a moment
Have you
of
been
raw
talking
honesty.
to my family?
Like,
Yeah.
have they bugged my room?
Right.
Yeah. So something's going on. And I think if they had won the game, Chris, he walks.
He might have.
Now he has to decide what he's going to do with the loss. Does he come back? And at a certain level, whether he's trying to or not, and the most effective way to do it is if you're not trying to do it, you get the Patriots to come to him and say, hey, Rob, you're on the books for $8 million next year. We'll offer you a little bit more.
Yeah.
We understand you have a little leverage over us. There's nothing left by way of signing bonus money that they could recover, so they have no leverage over him. He can walk away without financial consequence. He made the extra $5.5 million this year, and he could say, I'm done, I'm out. And maybe they come to him and say, okay, how about 10? How about 11? How about 12 million? What's it take? Because he can make a decent amount of money just being Gronk and not putting his body or his brain at risk. And he could, there's a very specific niche for Rob Gronkowski. He needs to be careful not to go beyond it. Acting, too far beyond it. Stand-up comedy, sorry, Rob, too far beyond it. But just being Gronk, he can make $4 or $5 million a year off of that.
He certainly can make a nice living. I know that. And he's one of the greatest tight ends in history. His body has been beat to crap. Lower back surgery twice, ACL. We talked about it. Plate in his forearm. He's played through so many injuries. You mentioned the concussion protocol, how long it took. I got to think his family, who's also played football, they just realized, man, Rob, he's our brother, he's our son. We hope he can walk when he's 50 years old. He won't need a cane, whatever it may be. I think all those things have to be playing into this decision. I think when all said and done, he will come back. But even if he doesn't, New England won Super Bowl 51 without him. They're not going to be, cast aside. Certainly, he is the greatest tight end in history, and they can. But I'm just saying they can overcome
Jimmy
it.
Graham, but he doesn't block like he doesn't.
No,
block
that's
like
the thing too. Gronkowski's like having an extra offensive tackle on the field. He's one of the greatest run blockers we've seen as well.
That broken arm that he struggled with, had multiple surgeries, had infections, had a pick line. Right. That happened blocking on an extra point play.
That's right.
Yeah. So maybe tight ends shouldn't block. Maybe they should be all like Jimmy Graham and line up and just catch passes. But they'll find somebody. Bill Belichick will find somebody through the draft, through free agency, whatever.
Yep.
But all those surgeries, ankle surgery. Remember, he had the bad ankle in 2011 when they played the Giants in Super Bowl 46.
Right.
Bad ankle, bad knee, the forearm, the concussions, the back.
Yep.
At some point, you just say enough's enough. And there's going to be some Patriots fans that are salty about it if it happens, but my God, what more can you expect from the guy? He's given everything he has to the sport, and I don't think Patriots fans should be upset at all if he decides it's time to move on.
No, I don't think so either. And I'm going to be interested to see where it goes. It's just shocking because he is 29 years old. He's been so great from such an early stage of his career. I think even myself, I follow the game really closely. I think of him as a little bit older than that. But man, is he some guy to match up with? Just in some of the highlights, if you're watching NBC Sports Network, but you're watching the game last night, it doesn't matter who's covering him. Safeties, linebackers, corners. He is a giant of a man. TV does not do justice to how big he is when you see him in person. But I think the thing that I think tricks everybody is he is so much more athletic and explosive than he looks. He's a little bit of a long strider and he's gangly. And I think when you watch him on film, you go, he can't be moving that fast. I can get in his face and bump and run and cover him. And then you get next to him and you see him go and you go, whoa, this guy is like a different animal and unlike anything really we've seen in the NFL before.
It's hour number 3 of the program, Pro Football Talk Live, NBC Sports Radio, NBCSN, Monday morning, February 5, and the season is now completely over. And just as we thought back in September, Nick Foles would be named the Super Bowl
I called it.
MVP. Man, I think about the odds on that one, and what they would have, probably not even on the board. Like, who's Nick Foles?
Right.
Nick Foles, he's still in the league. The stories about him nearly retiring after his experience with the Rams, and he had a couple of bad years, one with the Rams, one with the Chiefs, but he came back, he got the opportunity after Carson Wentz was injured. It was rocky at first. They had a bad performance against the Raiders on a Monday Night Football game on Christmas. Right. Just an awful sluggish performance against the Cowboys Week 17. That bye week, though, They took full advantage of it. They turned it around. They expanded the playbook. They found things that Nick Foles did when Chip Kelly was the head coach in Philadelphia, and it worked, and he built confidence. And throughout the day, you got to get to him early. You got to rattle him early. They failed to do it, and Nick Foles and the Eagles got it done. If you're watching NBCSN, quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl with 3 or fewer starts in the regular season. Doug Williams 30 years ago, Jeff Hostetler with the New York Giants in 1990, and now Nick Foles.
It's funny, those are NFC East teams too. But I think it really speaks to the NFC a little bit, and the NFC East especially, and just because it's kind of an old school conference. It's about being physical up front, about physically beating up other football teams and not making mistakes. And
it used to be about playing defense, but there was none of that on either side of the ball.
If you just
night.
look some of these highlights, if you're watching on NBCSN, I mean, some of these throws that he made were truly phenomenal. I mean, what a night. This is the best game of Nick Foles' career. It was better than the NFC Championship game because I felt like he was under duress and had to make more plays with his physical ability and less just system plays.
And caught a touchdown pass.
That's amazing.
After Tom Brady dropped a catch when he was wide open, Foles knew, hey, I can't drop this one, and he didn't. So Super Bowl MVP, and the Patriots just couldn't stop him. Why do you think the Patriots, I mean, because these are the Patriots. This is Bill Belichick. This is Matt Patricia. Surely you got 2 weeks. Remember we said, hey, you got 2 weeks to come up with a way to stop this guy. If anybody can do it, it's them. Why did they fail?
Yeah, I really am going to go back to something that I know you and I have talked about really since the Jacksonville game. This, in my opinion, was the least talented New England Patriots team to ever reach the Super Bowl, and they were stuck in a position where they said, wow, we have to almost put all our resources into stopping this Philadelphia Eagles run game, or they're just going to control the clock and bludgeon us at the line of scrimmage, and we'll never get the ball back. They tried to make Nick Foles beat them, and that's exactly what he did. They were going to play man, and that's where it goes into, again, the Malcolm-Butler situation, because if that's the game plan, you need him out here. I don't know, maybe that would have been Malcolm-Butler there on that touchdown instead of Eric Rowe. But again, I just can't say enough about Doug Peterson's aggressiveness, the Eagles just not flinching on the big stage and made all the big plays when they needed to.
One of the strangest storylines of the night, star cornerback Malcolm Butler didn't play at all on defense, played special teams, and found out just before the game that he wouldn't be starting. So something had to have happened yesterday. Eric Rowe gets thrust into the starting lineup unprepared, at least mentally unprepared.
And he admitted it. Yeah, he found out he starting right before the game. So obviously there was something there. I just can't wait to kind of figure that out.